All right, so let's talk about my top 10 favorite 4Ks of 2022. Um, this is the year I really got into the 4K game, and that's because I really love movies in general, and I really got majorly into collecting movies this year. I've always collected movies, but now it's gotten a lot bigger. My collection's expanded, and also, I got a 4K TV and 4K player, so I started to care more about 4K. Because before it was like, if it's cheap enough, I'll just buy the Blu-ray because, well, I don't need 4K because I don't have 4K TV. But most of the time, I did try to future-proof and upgrade. But this is an awesome stack here. I'm going to go through this the best I can. So let's get started with heavy. Take a ride on heavy metal. I actually saw the guy who sings that song in concert. Forget his name at the moment. But this is a Sony Pictures 4K Steelbook. Now, if you don't get the 4K Steelbook, there's a standard edition, but it's the same 4K. And I don't know if it comes with Heavy Metal 2000, which is not on 4K, but it's on Blu-ray. Which isn't great, but you know. This is an awesome transfer. I think animation, sometimes we forget how crisp and clean, like a lot of that looks on 4K. And this was a definitely huge upgrade for this movie. It really made that 2D traditional animation look beautiful, and really added to the awesome visuals of this movie, which is kind of all this movie is besides just the music. It's an animated anthology of different characters or weird locations. It has so many crazy visuals. So having that all in 4K is awesome. So that's number 10. Number 9 is Pulp Fiction. I actually watched this for the first time this year, and I'm putting it on this spot because I do have another Quentin Tarantino movie, and if you've been paying attention to what 4Ks have come out recently, you know what it is on this list. But Pulp Fiction looked great, and it was a huge upgrade, but it was not as big as an upgrade as the other movie is, and that's just because the Blu-ray for this was really already fantastic. So it upgraded as much as it could, but it's still a huge upgrade and a wonderful improvement over it. And at a great price of $20 right now, unless you want that steelbook. Me personally, I don't really care for steelbooks that much, so I don't always go for steelbooks unless I really love something. Wally. Now, some of you might be surprised to see this at this spot in the list and not higher. I do like what this represents of maybe a future where Disney's licensing their titles out to boutique labels. But really, beyond this, beyond just the packaging, the booklet, and the bonus features, there isn't a lot here that's a huge upgrade from the previous edition, according to most people. Now, I do not have that previous edition to compare, so that's why I'm putting it at this spot, because maybe it is a huge upgrade. But from I hear, it isn't a huge upgrade, and it's actually the same transfer from what I understand. But but at the same time, this movie deserves to be on this list for what it means. And even if it's the original transfer of the 4K of WALL-E that was put out by Disney, it's still a gorgeous transfer and huge upgrade. This film's very delightful, and I forgot how much I loved it until I watched it on 4K. So I'm cool with putting it on this list, but I don't know how much of an improvement it is since I don't have the previous edition to compare. Ambulance is number 7. Sorry, I had to think for a minute. Number 7 is Ambulance. This was a movie that I think a lot of people missed, and you know, I really loved like movies like The Rock and some Michael Bay's earlier stuff. This is not as great as that. It's still one of his better movies. It's a lot of fun. It's one big car chase with these drone shots. It's an awesome movie. And what's great about this movie on 4K is the sound, the audio, and the picture. It's very crisp crisp, very clean. Michael Bay makes very well shot and put together movies with kind of a shine filter to them and stuff. And so they have that kind of stuff they do. Like when people think of, oh, I gotta have that in 4K, like big action set pieces, lots of explosions, that's kind of stuff that people feel like they need on 4K. So this is kind of like, if you were going to do like a demo disc, Ambulance would be a cool one to show on 4K. I don't really want to put it higher on this list because even though I enjoyed the movie, it's definitely not a great movie. But if you can get it for about $10 on 4K, I got that on Black Friday for $10. Definitely worth the upgrade. And then Nope is another one that looks great on 4K. All of Jordan Peele's movies look great on 4K. They're gorgeous movies regardless of what format you get them on because Jordan Peele is an excellent director. His cinematography is gorgeous. But this was another one that had great audio, sound design, and just beautiful picture quality to it. Huge upgrade. And just looked as good as it did in the theater on my screen, if not maybe a little bit better. Highlander. There could be only one. This 4K is definitely a pretty good improvement. I don't know if it's like super amazing over the Blu-ray because I haven't really seen the Blu-ray copy before. I've never owned this before now, but I did decide to put it on here because of the beautiful artwork on the disc, the slipcover, and the art cards, which I did put up on my shelves because it's just gorgeous. And yeah, this movie is an awesome movie, and I think it just looked great on 4K. And yeah, I mean, I don't really have another Blu-ray to compare it to, so we're just going to move along from there to our last four. Saturday Night Fever. Are you going to show it? This is an awesome movie. Let me just talk about this movie for a minute. So if you've never seen Saturday Night Fever, you've probably seen the John Travolta dancing scene like this right here. You've probably seen a lot of those scenes. You've probably seen stuff like that. But what you don't actually know about this movie if you've never seen it, it is a dark, dramatic 70s character piece. There is a reason this film was nominated for Oscars back in the day. And it's great. The music's great. The audio's great. The picture's great. It is the best this film has ever looked. This was on my 4K wish list for about, since I started buying 4Ks about 2 or so years ago. This has been on my wish list of something I wanted Paramount to upgrade, and I really couldn't ask for a better transfer. This film looked incredible. This slipcover looked incredible. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Looks gorgeous. To Kill a Mockingbird. This is another one of my favorite movies, and I'm so glad it's on 4K. This is an 80-year-old movie, I believe. I know Casablanca's 80. Oh, this is 60. Okay. Casablanca's the one that's 80, which I didn't put on this list, but it was very close to get on this list. I have the limited edition that comes with the film set of the courtroom scene. Such a great scene. And a booklet here. Just going over projection notes and things like that about the movie and stuff. And then it has the 4K inside with some art cards and stuff. I put the art cards on my wall, otherwise I would show you them. But yeah, there's a 4K. And you can buy a standard slipcover, but this is an awesome edition. This film has never looked better. It's definitely a huge improvement. Such a beautiful movie, and it's just one of those films you gotta have in your collection at some point. It's just incredible. A masterpiece of filmmaking. So this is interesting. I'm gonna put these two are pretty much a tie. One is a good example of an older 4K transfer, and then one's a better example of a newer 4K transfer. So we got older movie, but number one and number two are pretty much interchangeable. The Northman. This is a movie that I saw in theaters, and I bought it on 4K during Prime Day, and I had been meaning to rewatch this film since the theaters, but I didn't expect to get as sucked in as I did watching it. It immediately hooked me. And I saw so much beauty in this movie. It's an incredible film. It is my second favorite movie of the year that I saw in theaters this year. And it blew my mind. 4K, looked gorgeous. But the sound is so much better than I think it even was in the theater I watched it. And that's on my TV at home. This 4K is one of the greatest 4Ks I've ever seen for a modern movie. A visually epic. The sound design on this 4K and the audio just really does an incredible job of immediately sucking you in and making you engaged throughout this entire film's runtime. This is my favorite movie I've seen on 4K this year. But number one is Reservoir Dogs. I own the previous Blu-ray. This was actually the first Quentin Tarantino movie I ever saw. And the Blu-ray was not good. Very washed out, very ugly. The audio wasn't super great. And all that was fixed here on this awesome edition with the slipcover here. The skin tones are brought out so much more. It's very clean, very cut, very dry. You can see the blood a lot more clearly. You can see everything so much clearer. The sweat, all that. It's just an absolute gorgeous 4K transfer. It's one of the best for an older film I've ever seen. And I honestly think if Quentin Tarantino himself saw this transfer, he would be blown out of his mind. It is one of the best 4K transfers of all time. It is an awesome 4K transfer